One of the most controversial topics about American society is the justice system. From private prisons making money off of overcrowded facilities full of convicts and those who had pled guilty to courts they couldn't pay, and the laws and systems that feed them more inmates every day. But there is another culprit to the rampant, unnecessary, and unconstitutional amount of people jailed: bail bonds. Bail bonds are another factor that leads to higher imprisonment rates for poor individuals in the justice system. This particular type of system tends to benefit the rich while making the poor suffer. A bail is paid to the court as a sign of good faith and reason to not jump your bail and appear in court. If you can't make that good faith offer, then they will throw you in prison. But these bail bonds don't work for the poor. Allow me to give an anecdotal example. In 2016, Devereaux Wolf was pulled over for not wearing a seatbelt before being forcefully removed from his vehicle and arrested. He was charged with 3 counts of aggravated battery and 2 counts of resisting arrest. The truth is that Mr. Wolf was detained unlawfully by Chicago police, and he was now facing a $30,000 bond. He couldn't even afford to pay 10% of that amount or go to trial. It's cheaper to go to prison as a guilty man than to plead to your innocence. That very thought, that very sentence, is antithetical to the hallowed beliefs of the American society. This is a form of discrimination against the poor and allows the wealthy to stay out of such a conundrum. Let's look at the case of millionaire Colin Davis, who was accused of gunning down his ex-wife Priscilla Davis, his ex-wife's boyfriend Stan Farr, and his ex-wife's biological daughter Andrea Wilborn, who was born in 1912. When he was arrested, they set his bail at $80,000. That's not even chump change for a millionaire to spend for being accused of shooting 2 adults and a child, which was likely over his divorce, which the judge was going to settle Miss Priscilla Davis with $50 million in his lavish mansion property. He was found not guilty in 2 separate trials and got to walk free, and he still walks to this day. Davis easily paid his bail and tried to fly out of state. Bail promotes the idea that someone can be found guilty until proven innocent or innocent enough with deep pockets. The lengths that bail bond companies will go to bring in those who didn't show up for court are anti-American and is a slap in the face to the judicial system, spurred by corporate greed. Bounty hunters are the living, breathing example of what is wrong with bail bond systems. Companies are allowed to send bounty hunters to retrieve the no-shows and bring them into police custody. The hit television show, Dog the Bounty Hunter, is a horrid example of the glamorization and normalization of this behavior. They are allowed to mace, tase, or even hold the accused at gunpoint, and they have little to no restriction in their actions. In 2017, at Nashville, Tennessee, in a Walmart parking lot, 7 bounty hunters thought they had found their target's vehicle. They broke down the windows of the car without introducing themselves or giving them a reason why as to they were approaching their vehicle. The car was also, in fact, not the target's vehicle, and bounty hunters had mistaken themselves. At this point, the men inside of the car sped off and struck a couple of the bounty hunters, while the others had responded in kind by discharging their firearms into the vehicle, killing Jalen Milan, a 24-year-old father of 2. These men killed an innocent man. 5 of the 7 men were found not guilty, as the first 2 took a plea deal ahead of time. The bail bond companies and hunters, the laws and regulation that uphold this behavior is wrong. We should push to remove bail and systems that perpetuate the growth of prisoner population and prison overcrowding, and the laws that keep them in place. Private prisons and bail are infamous for collecting poor, low-income Americans who could just be as innocent as far as the gavel could go, but won't be treated as such because the judge imposed a bail that was too steep for someone to pay. The United States has the highest prisoner populations in the world. Larger, more corrupt, and poorer nations have smaller counts than us. This isn't because we have more crime. It's not because America is inherently a bigger place or because there isn't a competent enough police force around the nation. It's because of bail bond companies And the private prisons are paid to hustle this business. And removing bail bond business would mean taking down companies that have invested thousands upon hundreds upon millions of dollars to build these prisons and lobby for these laws to be passed. It won't be easy and it won't be fast. But the more people that we rally to this, the more people that we collect to bring ourselves up, the more that we can help fix the prison overpopulation, fix bail bond systems, or remove them entirely. We should be incentivized to change prisoners and not to punish them, not to recidivize them into prisons, but to give them another chance. If we have the right to an attorney, then we should deserve the right to go to trial and avoid being sent to jail for having suspicion of having done a crime. We are innocent until proven guilty. We are not treated guilty. We are not treated as guilty until you write a check.